Why do you hate Justin Herbert? Let me read this to y'all the way I heard it when I got the question. Why do you hate Justin Herbert, man? First of all, I don't hate Justin Herbert. I hate the way he is covered. That is very different statements, right? It's similar to the boy who cried wolf. Before I get to the race part, it's the boy who cried wolf. All Justin Herbert's career, we are told that the losses he takes are not his fault. And some of them aren't. Legitimately, some of them aren't. You lose a game 42-45, not your fault. You go out there, you throwing for 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, only 4 incompletions, you still lose? Hey man, the game is the game. You gotta play defense on the other side. Not your fault. Justin Herbert's in year 4. How long is it not gonna be his fault? How many times are you gonna keep telling me it's not his fault as we continue to watch him lose games? I did a season preview for all 32 teams before the season. And I tried to be as fair as possible to Justin Herbert because it's not his fault that he's covered this way. All he does is go and play football. I can't even tell you what he sounds like. And most people can't even pick his face out of a lineup. And when I was trying to be fair, I was like, hey, his talent out of this world. Can't be denied. The injury issues, for the most part, fair. Derwin James missed like 8 games a year. Joey Bosa, same thing. Mike Williams, same thing. Keenan Allen, I thought was the same thing until I looked up this little stat today. Hold on. As I was preparing for today's video, did you know that Keenan Allen has played 49 of a possible 58 games he could play together with Justin Herbert? Their actual best receiver has only missed 9 out of 58 of the possible games they could play together. And back to the wins and loss things, because I'm firmly on the winning is definitely a quarterback stat. Wins are a quarterback stat. They just are. They're not only a quarterback stat. They're not the only quarterback stat, but it is a quarterback stat, especially when they are winning because the offense is centered to work because of you and not in spite of you. If you don't know the difference, working in spite of you is every 49ers quarterback under Kyle Shanahan. Purdy, Garoppolo, Nick Mullins, all of them. That offense is built around the limitations of their quarterback. To work because of you, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. Those offenses are built around them and their strengths, and if they aren't at their best, the offense doesn't work. So when they win and that offense hums, it is largely because of them. Justin Herbert is not in an offense that is built to work in spite of him. Another part of the Justin Herbert coverage that bothers me, every time he loses, outside of I keep getting told it's not his fault, I keep having to hear how great he is. And oh my God, look at his throw. Oh my God, look at these traits he has. Oh wow, look, these are the numbers, the advanced analytics, which I have a whole nother point about advanced analytics that we'll get to on another day, because that's just a whole nother can of worms on that one. In these losses, every time we see him lose, all we have to hear about is how great he is. Meanwhile, and this is where the race car comes in, guys. I'm bringing it in. Brace yourselves for the people who want to turn their brain on. Keep it on. Don't worry. Keep your brain on. Meanwhile, every time I see Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts lose, all I hear about is their flaws, or all I hear about is how it's not their fault that they're winning, or it's not their responsibility that they're winning. Tell me how that makes sense. Again, as we spoke about before, Lamar Jackson's offense, since he came into the league, is built around his skill set. Lamar Jackson is 52-19 since he has entered the league. I will say that again for you. 52-19. People of the audience, would you like to know what Justin Herbert's record is since he has entered the league? Justin Herbert is 29-29. He is a 500 quarterback since he has entered the league. Oh, but wins don't matter. Winning doesn't matter. Winning is not a quarterback stat. All right, cool. Whatever. And back to the Keenan Allen point, because, weapons, got to have your weapons around you, right? Who's the receiver Lamar Jackson's had that could even smell Keenan Allen's jockstrap? All due respect to Mark Andrews, not Keenan Allen. And he's a tight end, an actual tight end, not a Travis Kelce type tight end, an actual tight end, hand in the ground, blocks, all the fun shit, right? And I think this part right here is where Chargers fans are really getting their panties in a bunch to an extra degree this year. It's because Justin Herbert has been allowed to skate for years doing the same thing he's doing now. Like I said earlier, his career record is 29-29. He's a 500 quarterback. He's 4-5 right now. His numbers are about the same as they've always been. His record is about the same as they've always been. You know what the difference is? Last playoffs, we saw him lose a game up 27 points. And again, his fans will tell you it's not his fault. Even though if he scores one touchdown in the second half, they win that game. And he couldn't do that. Your top 5 quarterback couldn't score a single point in an entire half with his season on the line. And we all saw it. And now after that, as sports fans and some of the media, we all could look at it and go, this guy they keep telling us is top 5. And the reason I say keep telling is because, let's be honest, most people don't watch the Chargers because they're in Los Angeles. You look at their games, most of their games is filled with people from the other team. So we can be honest about that too. That also plays a part in it. This guy that they keep telling us is a top 5 guy, we just saw him fold on a grand stage as prime time as it gets in the playoffs against a person playing also in his first playoff game for a franchise that we always have known as a poverty franchise. The Jaguars have always been a poverty franchise. So now this season, we're not trying to hear that stat shit. We're not trying to hear that cool throw shit. Hey, bro, where are the wins? Where are your W's? And these stat nerds and Chargers fans cannot handle it. They can't handle it because eventually, back to the boy who cried wolf, eventually there has to be a wolf. You can't keep telling me there's a wolf and I got to keep believing it. Eventually I'm going to stop coming. And then when the wolf actually shows up, I'm not going to fucking believe you. In Justin Herbert's case, you keep telling me him losing is not his fault. Got you. And sometimes you're right. A lot of the times you're right. But I'm not trying to hear that after 58 games of watching this man. Last point, and then I'll move on. With the 27-0 meltdown, there's no other way to put it. Full-blown meltdown in the playoffs. Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson were up for contract extensions in the same offseason, this past offseason, right? Every sports network was questioning whether Lamar Jackson was worth the contract he was asking for, if not flat out telling us that he was not worthy of it. Lamar Jackson, who is an MVP winner, Lamar Jackson, who again is 52-19 for his career, has never missed the playoffs his entire career. Even the years he didn't finish, his team still made the playoffs because he had him in such a great position by the time he left that they still were able to make it in. They had us questioning whether he was worthy of his contract. He got his deal. The questions were still there. Not even a month later, Justin Herbert signed a bigger deal after our last memory of him was a 27-point meltdown in the playoffs. Still no playoff wins. Still no All-Pros. Still no MVPs. Quiet as a church mouse. Nobody asked a single question as to whether or not he was worth the contract at all. Nobody. And again, this has nothing to do with him as a person and a player. It is about his stands and the way they cover him, because that's fucking ridiculous. I shouldn't say thank you for the question because it's a whiny ass question, but still, thank you for the question, for letting me be able to get the Justin Herbert stuff off my chest.